Pre-approved credit. Customers must qualify, plus tax, title, license, registration, and applicable government fees. Offers expire July 31st, 2026.
Looking for an auto repair shop you can actually trust? McCullough's Auto Repair has been serving Delco since 1999. They believe honesty, fairness, and friendly service still matter. Chuck and Ralph run the place. No matter your car's issue, they'll explain it in plain English and help you decide what really needs to be done now and what can wait. Chuck's motto is, I'll never steer you wrong. Call McCullough's at 610-446-1230 and ask for Chuck or Ralph. Or visit McCullough'sAutoRepair.com.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
See Joe Conklin, Ray Dininger, and Glenn Macnow count down the greatest moments in Philly sports at the Ocean City Music Pier Thursday, August 6th. Get tickets at joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! Summer heat, storms, and heavy rain can put your roof to the test. Don't settle for anything less than expert care. PJ Fitzpatrick brings more than 45 years of experience, and they've earned thousands of 5-star reviews. Delivering American-made, CertainTeed premium shingles. Most roofs install in just one day, and all come with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. Flexible financing makes it easy to protect your home this summer. Visit trustpj.com today.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A group of 24 survivors of the late convicted sex offenders Jeffrey Epstein and convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell are urging key Republican Senators Tom Tillis and John Cornyn to vote against confirming Todd Blanche as Attorney General.
Tillis last week had required Blanche to meet with Epstein's victims to secure his vote to move his nomination forward. But after that meeting took place, a group of 24 survivors said that Blanche deflected responsibility, interrupted, and gaslit the woman. They called the meeting a, quote, box-checking exercise arranged only after his confirmation was put at risk. Blanche requires the votes of both Tillis and Cornyn for his nomination to survive. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
The U.S. has carried out 10 straight days of airstrikes targeting Iranian sites. Iran also continuing to launch its own attacks at U.S. sites in the region. The President Trump says Iran will pay for the strikes at a U.S. base in Jordan that killed 2 U.S. service members Friday. On Capitol Hill this hour, Pentagon officials are briefing lawmakers asking for more than $80 billion more to pay for the war. ABC's Jay O'Brien says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is among those appearing at an appropriations hearing.
This is what lawmakers really on both sides of the aisle view as the only oversight that they're going to be able to conduct over this war. Not a vote, not a war powers vote, the way that we've seen some successful and some go down in the Senate, and certainly not, in the words of even some Republicans, criticism directed at the White House. It's going to be, many lawmakers tell me in their view, the power of the purse strings that Congress has that will really give them the ability, in their view, to conduct oversight over this war.
The FDA still trying to confirm the source of the cyclosporiasis outbreak across states in the U.S. The investigation focusing on lettuce and testing samples from Taylor Farms sourced in Mexico. The company issuing a recall, it says, out of an abundance of caution. You're listening to ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
Intense competition among the makers of popular weight loss drugs now playing out in a courtroom. One federal case in New Jersey is being closely watched.
With so many people using the drugs, it's a bold claim to make.
People using Zepbound lost an average of 50 pounds compared to an average of 33 pounds with the Wegovy injection.
And one that the maker of Wegovy says is misleading. Novo Nordisk claims that Eli Lilly is using data based on the highest dose of Zepbound versus the lowest dose of Wegovy. The Danish drug maker wants a court to order Lilly to pull the ads and to issue what it calls corrective advertising. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
A 34-year-old woman in Australia has conceived and delivered identical quadruplets without the help of fertility treatments. The odds for such a birth are 1 in 15 million. Dr. Alexa Bendall, an obstetrician at Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital, says she's honored to be a part of this amazing birth.
One fertilized egg that then splits not once, not twice, but 3 times into 4 different babies who then share a placenta. That is just incredible.
The girls will stay in the NICU for several weeks as they grow stronger. No winner in last night's Powerball drawing, and that means tomorrow night's jackpot is worth now $567 million. Tonight's $707 million Mega Millions drawing, more than $1 billion, is up for grabs. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as big wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Hi, I'm Judith Light. So there you are. It's flu season, and you're over 65 like me. You're having another busy year. So much to do, so many roles in life to play. But you feel like you might be forgetting something serious. Your annual flu shot. And before you know it, it's too late. It's not just the aches, fever, and chills that last for days and days. The flu can be life-threatening, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu. Being active and healthy alone won't protect you. The immune system weakens with age, making you more susceptible to the flu. If you're over 65, ask about your vaccine options, including one made specifically for us. An annual flu shot is the best way to help keep the flu away. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccine options for people 65 and older. Again, that's ncoa.org/flu.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
When you want the best that there is, when you want the best in the entire biz, there's a name the stations call you sure to like. It's America's host, and his name is Mike. Stunt brain, that is. You've heard him before, and you'll hear him again. Everyone loves him when he hosts on 1210.
And just like that, it's Tuesday afternoon. How are you? How are you, my friends? 307 Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And I was outside just before we started the show, I was outside in the backyard here, just at surface level, because we're below ground here in the free speech bunker in northern Delaware, and it felt soupy outside. That's my take on the weather, as this kind of crazy storm is approaching the cable networks when they break and talk to their weather guy or weather lady. They're all saying, oh, my God, there's 40 million people at risk whose lives are in the path of this storm. I know it's called summer and thunderstorms that we have a lot, and I understand that. But I don't think there's any real reason to scare the people. But the soupy name, I think I'm accurate on that. DeSantis, you walk like 3 blocks from your parking garage to the Odyssey World headquarters. Would you describe the environment as soupy, or how would you depict it?
I think soupy is a good term to use. It's unpleasant. Nobody wants to be walking around right now. It's hot. It's sticky. Ugh. Yeah,
I think if you give it an which it's somewhere that's in the Street Hebrew dictionary. Yeah. I studied Hebonics when I lived in New York City, so I could understand Hebrew, Street Hebrew. And Justin, you also have to wander through the streets of Philadelphia before you get to the building. Your take on today's weather conditions?
I think we'll hit the dump on it. It's swamp ass season. That's all I can say about it.
It's swamp. Okay, good. Well, we were going to try and survive today because based on what all of the weather nerds are telling us, my broadcast signal is in danger if we get any kind of real serious storm coming through. I don't think so. They're always telling us this. But here in the 95 corridor, we're watching this storm seems to be headed right through us. And apparently not now. We're in the quiet zone. But maybe near 5 o'clock when Guy Shiraki is supposed to join us, things could get a little dicey. I'm hoping it bounces around us. And speaking of today's show, Guy Shiraki, Coach Guy, at 5 o'clock, he's probably listening, so I want him to weigh in on one of the topics that will thread through the entire show today. So, Guy, if you're listening, if you're tuning in, your opinion on this next subject will be very important. And then Doug Kelly joining us from the American Edge Project in about an hour and a half. We're going to discuss the AI situation. There apparently is a giant concern that China's going to overtake us and that we may lose our edge on AI, on artificial intelligence. I use it a lot. I know many of you use it as well. I know Newman Price uses it to create some of the brilliant songs he puts together. So are we at risk of losing our advantage on AI? And what are we really using it for? That's one of the things. I would hope that they would eventually take all of the technology that AI has to offer and put it on real important projects. And that's maybe one of the questions today. What's the number one thing you would have AI fix if you could have it fix anything? I've got my answer. And then John Lott Jr. is going to join us. John Lott Jr. from the Crime and Prevention Center. Got great statistics, great information on crime. He's also the Second Amendment's greatest friend. I will tell you that. We'll talk to our friend John Lott Jr. in about half an hour and see what he's up to as it relates to the Save America Act, which yesterday Mike Lee in the well of the Senate was really ripping some of his compadres for their reluctance to stick around and try and solve the Save America Act problem. Mike Lee really not happy. So we'll get to that. But there are a couple of burning issues today. Number one, today is National Junk Food Day. National Junk Food Day. I like to think that I eat very healthy, and I try to. But there is one junk food that is my kryptonite. I get weak in the knees when I get around it. I absolutely cannot resist it. So I succumb to that inclination to consume it every now and then I kind of have to hide it from myself. But I know everybody's got one. So if you have a junk food kryptonite you want to share, or just not maybe kryptonite, maybe you just love it so much, 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210 is the number. You can join us at any time. DeSantis, I heard you when I was talking to Justin in the pre-show as we were getting ready to come on the air, and I said it's National Junk Food Day. What's yours? And screaming in the studio with his microphone 20 feet from him, yet I heard it all the way in the bunker here. Pringles?
I love Pringles. As the can suggests, once you pop, you cannot stop. Or as my doctor says, it's probably just lack of self-control. But I love those things. I don't even care that I don't. I think there's some sort of gimmick. They're not legally allowed to call themselves potato chips or something, because if you look at the canister, you look at that Pringles tube, it says potato crisp or something, or something. It's not a potato chip. It's different, and it's more delicious, I think.
Can you find the ingredients in Pringles?
I don't want to know.
I think you should be forced to read and define the list of ingredients. You know, I'm kind of related to your choice here because I'm a potato chip guy. If I find a great potato chip, it's impossible to stop. That's my kryptonite. But I can't do the Pringles. It's Frankenfood to me. You know, I look at it and I go, that was never near Mother Earth.
There's a lot of strange ingredients in these chips.
Yes, give me the first 6.
This is in no particular order. We've got dried potatoes, vegetable oil, yellow corn flour, cornstarch, rice flour. Now, this is where it becomes especially problematic because I don't know what maltodextrin is. I don't know what monodiglycerides are. I don't know. We've got some sort of weird starches here. None of this looks healthy.
Well, at least there are potato flakes in there.
I love oleic soybean. Maybe that's the key ingredient.
Probably, yeah. I'm not sure. There was a guy, I think, who buried himself in a Pringles can, his ashes. He loved Pringles so much. He put it in his will that he wanted to be cremated and then buried in a Pringles can. So perhaps, not that I'm wishing you an early departure by any way, stretch of the imagination, but just one of those things. So Pringles, okay. Justin, yours makes sense because I'm a potato chip guy. I get it. It's a nice snackable food thing, and it is junk food. Yours is?
Mine is similar to failed presidential candidate Kamala Harris. I can't resist a bag of Doritos. More specifically, spicy nacho.
Spicy nacho Doritos. You know what? I don't understand all the various flavors. You know, at one point I just want a chip. I just want a potato chip. I want a potato that's fried in oil, and there's a little salt on it. So those should be the ingredients. Potato, salt. It's cooked in oil. Even kettle cooked would be good. And frankly, the Wegmans regular potato chips, I think, are the best potato chips in the country.
I'll try those.
Yeah, they're very good.
Have you tried the naked Doritos, the Maha version of the Dorito? It's supposed to be stripped of the artificial coloring. They taste almost exactly the same.
Yeah, they taste the same. There's like a slight different aftertaste on it, but other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. And my fingers don't get as coated in God knows what color dye.
They feel healthier.
I don't understand like all of their crazy flavors though of Doritos and the one I really don't understand, and someone should be able to explain this to me if they have this, they suffer from this addiction. The ones that are so hot, you know they're going to burn twice.
Oh, like Flamin' Hot Cheetos and stuff like that.
Yeah, all that stuff. What's wrong with you? You eat it, it's going to burn your throat, and then about 6 hours later, it's burning the old riddle of the sphincter. It's just that doesn't make any damn sense to me. Anyway, that's try to get a classical literature reference in there every now and then. DeSantis, thank you for recognizing. So if you have a junk food that is your kryptonite, you can't stop eating it once you start it, and you maybe even have to banish it. It's really hard for me to put down potato chips. And if I find inferior potato chips being served, I might get a little angry. Just maybe. But none of the fancy flavor. But just stop with the flavor. Who needs Old Bay seasoned chips? Just stop. Just make a potato chip. I feel for DeSantis with all the chemicals in your system from the Pringles. Craziness. Now, Matthew, were you able to find, I think I sent you the link to what happened at Wrigley Field yesterday?
Yeah, we've got it.
This is something, I know we're not a sports show. This is not a sports issue. This is not a sports story. This is a story that I saw this early this morning, and I thought, that's a question we have to ask ourselves and ask each other. Chicago has two baseball teams, the Cubs and the White Sox. I grew up in Chicago. I have long been a Chicago White Sox fan. We were south side of Chicago people, but I understand there's a lot of people that love the Cubs. The Cubs on the north side, they have the Cubs. Wrigley Field is in a very woke part of Chicago. They even call it Wrigleyville, and it was yuppified like 30 years ago, gentrified, and a lot of wealthy young people moved in. And it kind of stayed woke. But yesterday, as the game was getting ready to start, they had the anthem being sung by an a cappella group. I think they're called Jersey Girls, not Jersey Guys. And they were singing the anthem, and a guy in the stands noticed that a younger man, probably somebody, he appears to be in his maybe early 20s, was sitting during the national anthem. So this older gentleman walked up behind the guy and said something to him about standing up, and apparently the kid didn't react quickly enough, so he got a little love tap, as some parents might call it, on the back of the head. I called it a nun slap. I don't know if you went to Catholic school, but the nuns would come up behind you, give you a little crack in the back of the head to rearrange your hair and get your attention. Might have happened several dozen times to me. And there are questions about this. So can we roll this video? If you're watching on the YouTube channel, please, let's take a look at this and let's discuss then whether or not this is the right thing to do. There it is. A little slap to the back of the head. Not like a full-on biatch slap. There's a couple of sunglass guys in gray shirts that seem to be distressed about it. Now, violation? Was that an assault? In some jurisdictions, that would be considered an assault. I think that was a little smackaroonie to the back of the head. Can we put a poll on the YouTube channel there to ask, was the older gentleman justified in delivering a little physical persuasion to the young man who was sitting during the national anthem? Is it okay? Was the man all right? Was he justified in trying to use a little physical persuasion? See, while I understand what the older guy was doing, I also think that in some ballparks, if you did that here at a Phillies game, what do you think the answer would be? Do you think the kid would stand, or do you think it would be stand and deliver a physical response as well? Because I think if that happens here, somebody in the stands is turning around and delivering a punch back at the guy. It wasn't like he slapped him right across the face, but it is one of those things. Just something that I thought, I know we're all a little stressed out and touchy these days, but I don't know if you should walk up to a complete stranger during the national anthem and give him a little wake-up slap to the back of the head, a nun slap to the back of the head, and get him to stand. I don't think there was a security interaction following that. Was there any? It was in Chicago. This was at Wrigley Field. For those of you who are asking in the YouTube channel, this happened at Wrigley. You could see the field in the background. So this happened, I believe it was yesterday at Wrigley Field. DeSantis, was there any report about a police interaction with these two gentlemen?
I haven't seen anything. I not at least not initially. I know the Chicago Police Department is aware of the video now, but no police report has been filed. So it doesn't appear as though this is going to escalate into anything, at least as of this very moment.
Early this morning, it was almost at 1 million hits online, so it absolutely has gone viral. So I think this is an issue that may keep bubbling up out there. But it's just one of those things.
Apparently, the younger fan said that the matter had been resolved and he didn't want the older fan ejected or any further action.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move, but also let's tell the older fan maybe don't do this. The other part of this is there's another video that came out today, and I don't think we can play it, a Morgan Wallen concert that was happening in Maryland. I think it was last night. A guy had brought his brother and his brother's kid. So it was two brothers and a niece, a teenage niece, were at the Morgan Wallen concert. And one of the guys in the stands couldn't stand to miss a song. So he unzipped and relieved himself right there in the stands and got it all over this gentleman and his niece. And he called the state police over, and they would not arrest the guy. They would not even pull him out. They wouldn't eject him. And he was incredulous. There's so much you can't even bleep this. You wouldn't hear anything out of the guy because he was beside himself. This fan in the stands with his brother and the brother's daughter, so his niece, got peed on by a drunk at a Morgan Wallen show. And the Maryland State Police were like, well, we're not going to arrest the guy. We can't arrest him. We'll give you his name, and you can file a police report, and they'll decide what to do. That seems to be a more egregious offense than this older dude slapping the back of the hair of the non-standing anthem kid. And I go back to the questions that arose after Colin Kaepernick stopped standing for the national anthem, and the U.S. women's soccer team stopped standing, and so many women's basketball teams wouldn't stand for the national anthem. I thought we were done with that. I really did. But maybe the Democrat socialist thing and the socialist invasion of America is more on our minds than anything else. Speaking of which, yesterday we talked about the DSA, and I think I've come up with a reasonable analysis of the Democrat socialist story that we have to get to today. I have a reasonable take. I think I've nailed it, what's going on with the Democrats, and I'll share that with you just around the corner. But the phones are hopping today, 855-839-1210. Let's go first to Terry in Moorestown, our friend Terry in Moorestown. Hello, my friend. Welcome.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
I'm good.
I had to call in regarding the potato chip question. Have you ever heard of Boulder Canyon?
I actually had. Are those the ones that are cooked in olive oil?
3 ingredients.
Olive oil, though. They're
avocado oil.
That's
sea salt and potato. That's it. And I tell you, they're pretty good. I don't see a problem. I think Matt should try them out. You can get them on Amazon.
I just finished a bag 2 days ago. Boulder Canyon has kind of.
Oh, then you know. What do you think?
Yeah, I did. That's why I said I knew. I thought it was olive oil, but you're right. It's avocado
oil. Yeah. Even better.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
And the thing about the hitting on the back of the head.
Yeah.
A nun can do it. I don't know about a stranger, especially in Chicago. A little dangerous. And the other guy, he should have definitely been taken to jail. The guy was peeing on the people in front of him. He should have been.
Absolutely.
definitely.
In a concert. Especially
that's
the prices.
terrible. That's just disgusting. And it probably stunk to high heaven as well. So that's terrible.
Well, Terry, they're at a concert. They've probably been drinking for a while. And, they always say, if it's clear, it's beer. So maybe there wasn't a whole.
That's disgusting.
I'm sorry.
God bless you. You have a good day.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. Yeah, Boulder Canyon chips. That's a good junk food recommendation if you're a chip person. Update on the slapping incident later Tuesday. The older fan actually identified himself to TMZ as Bob Chavez, a Vietnam vet, and he said he lost friends in the war and became emotional when he saw the younger man seated. Chavez also claimed that after the viral clip ended, they talked. Both apologized, which is kind of the way this is supposed to work, discussed their differing views, and even shared a beer before leaving the game. So a good ending at the end of all of this. So I just know, had this happened here in Philadelphia, there definitely would have been fists being thrown And had it happened on the south side of Chicago where the White Sox play, as an old White Sox fan, I can guarantee you there would have been more than fists being thrown. It would have been a lot bloodier. A whole lot bloodier. All right, I got to take a break. Just around the corner, our friend John Lott Jr. joining us. We'll talk about the Crime and Prevention Center, the latest news. John always has great data on the crime statistics in this country, but also we need to talk about the Save America Act. And I'll ask him what he thought about this as well, and maybe his favorite junk food. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
It feels like every day there's something in the headlines that could make you wonder to yourself, is now even a good time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 28 years, and each week he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9 a.m., and 5 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk premium. These are the top-of-the-line appliances that dream kitchens are made of. If you're planning an investment like this in your home, where you buy is as important as what you buy. At National Appliance Warehouse, we're committed to delivering the superior buying experience you deserve. Our showroom features beautifully displayed premium appliances of every major brand, including highly sought-after Monogram appliances. Our team of gurus is well-versed at guiding you as you navigate the same appliances you'd find in the most magnificent homes and the kitchens of cooking enthusiasts. And the National Appliance Warehouse team has the expertise to properly deliver and install your stunning new appliances.
Celebrate Christmas in July and save at National Appliance Warehouse. Elevate everything and save on Monogram appliances. Featuring sophisticated luxury and understated durability, you'll love expertly engineered and purposefully designed Monogram appliances. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Electronic Arts blockbuster franchise Madden NFL is coming to Apple's subscription gaming service, Apple Arcade. Madden NFL 27 Arcade Edition will run on all of Apple's hardware, including iPhones, iPads, and Macs, while supporting cross-device play. Madden NFL 27 Arcade will also feature a narrative messaging system that provides scenarios tied to player and team performance. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision and independence to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. It's the leading cause of blindness in adults 55 and older. Some of us are at greater risk for AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD. If left untreated, it can lead to blindness. The good news? With early detection, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that can reduce or even reverse some vision loss. Learning that you have AMD can be scary, but there's hope and help. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is researching and developing treatments and cures for AMD. To get your free AMD information packet, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. Join the fight against AMD, because together there is a cure in sight.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
I do need some shelter. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Happy Tuesday to you. Busy day today. We have a jam-packed show with a lot of information we're monitoring, covering the Senate, grilling of administration officials who are asking for $87 billion in funding, not just for defense, but for other issues as well. We'll get to updates on that. We also are monitoring anything as relates to the Iranian discussion. It appears we may have a message to deliver to the Pickaxe Mountain in Iran, which is the facility we now suspect the Iranians have put all of their fissile materials, some of their accelerators that will give them more enriched uranium, their centrifuges as well. We'll keep you updated on that. But the big story of this half hour that we're talking about is the Save America Act. And yesterday, in the well of the Senate, Mike Lee, one of the good guys, I really think Mike Lee is one of the underappreciated members of the Republican Party, certainly one of the underappreciated senators, a guy who just quietly continues to grind on behalf of the Constitution and on capitalism and on freedom. And Mike Lee is very upset that his Republican friends cannot seem to get the Save America Act across the finish line. Let me give you a little bit of what he was ranting about yesterday.
We'd love to, but we can't. I'm sorry, this falls on deaf ears. This is absurd. To whatever degree we don't have time, it's because we're choosing not to give it the time that it needs, that it deserves, that it requires. And shame on all of us for betraying our oath to the Constitution and our moral commitment to our own voters. We're expected to look out for them, to defend them, to respect them enough. We've got to give a crap, just enough of a crap, in order to tell our voters, to say, I'm sorry, we're not going to allow your vote to be offset by someone who is voting illegally. That's the least we can do. After this week, under the current schedule, the House and the Senate won't.
He goes on to say the House and the Senate won't be in session together at the same time until September 15th. Think about that. Today is the 21st of July. That means the House and the Senate will be in and out separately, but there's no way to get them to work together after this week to get this done. And he's furious about it. For Mike Lee to use the word crap, he said to give a crap, that's like the Pope F-bombing on Easter Sunday. That's how serious it is to Mike Lee. Truly is, that's the maddest I think I've seen Mike Lee. He said, we say we don't have the time, we just don't have the spine. And he's right. He's correct on that. Joining us to discuss this and a couple of other interesting Second Amendment twists and turns is our good friend, John Lott from the Crime Prevention Research Center. John has a great piece in Town Hall that popped late last week about the SAVE Act and why we need it, and just good common sense. John, thanks for being here, my friend.
Oh, it's great to talk to you again, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Always, always, always. John, I don't believe there's any chance we're going to get the SAVE Act pushed across, even if we find a way or somebody finds a way to put it into a bill that only requires a 51 votes to pass on a reconciliation basis. Am I missing something that you've seen, or is this thing basically dead in the water?
Well, I mean, it's really close. Unfortunately, you have Mitch McConnell, you have Murkowski from Alaska, you have Tom Tillis, who are all adamantly against it. You have to have, you can only lose 3 votes that are there. I don't know, there's a chance they may lose somebody else too.
Well, we lost Lindsey Graham too, so you don't have Lindsey Graham
his
as well.
Sister, I assume, will support it, though.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Interestingly, immediately before he passed away, he had a telephone call where he was saying that he thought he had figured out a way to get it over the finish line. So, given his influence, that was a real loss for that to happen at that time. But all I can say is it's going to be close. I mean, if somebody like Mitch McConnell decides that he's not well enough to return to the Senate and can get replaced, it's possible they could get it through.
Well, the thought is that McConnell is holding out until, I think it's August 4th. There's something to do with early in August that if Mitch McConnell decides he's not able to come back to work and he steps aside, they don't have to have a special election. If he were to become retired or incapacitated to the point he's incapable of doing his job prior to that date, that could force some kind of a special election. And I think that was one of the things I had heard, that they were attempting to just keep him out of the public eye until that week. So we'll watch the first week of August to see if that's the case. And that might be, that would be something. We should watch the prediction markets to see if that's the situation. But yeah, I'm just flabbergasted by the pettiness of some of the people like Tom Tillis and Cornyn and the folks who aren't happy about their lot in life, and so they're going to take it out on a situation that's it's popular with 83% of the American people to put a voter ID law into protecting our most precious right as citizens, and that right to select the people that represent us. And as your great piece on, I was going to reference the town hall piece. We are kind of put to shame by the rest of the world, are we not?
Right. I mean, one of the more bizarre things is just kind of the claims that have been put forward for why we shouldn't have this, that's going to disenfranchise blacks or Hispanics. And one of the things that I try to make clear in the piece was that the United States is a real outlier compared to the rest of the world. I mean, you talk about Hispanics, for example. In Mexico, and all the South American countries, you have to have a government-issued photo ID to be able to go and vote. With regard to proof of citizenship, what's required in Mexico and these other countries is essentially the same as what's in the SAVE Act, that in Mexico you have to have either your birth certificate or a passport. The list of IDs to prove citizenship in Mexico is essentially the same as what's in the SAVE Act. You look at Africa, for example. There are 54 countries in Africa. Every country in Africa, so when we're talking about blacks and their ability to go and vote with the SAVE Act, every country in Africa requires a government-issued photo ID to be able to go and vote. 51 of the 54 countries demand that people submit proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. So is it just that Hispanics and blacks in the United States somehow are incompetent compared to Hispanics in the rest of the Americas or in Spain or blacks in all of Africa? It's just not credible. You look at Europe, for example. Europe, you have 47 countries in Europe. All 47 countries mandate that you have to have a government-issued photo ID to be able to go and vote. And when you look, whether it's South America or Africa or Europe or other parts of the world, the thing that's interesting is that you have agreement across the political spectrum that you need to have these. You look at Mexico, or whether it's the Socialist Party there or the Conservatives or kind of the more moderate party, all of them are in favor of the rules there, and they're much tougher than what we have here in the United States. Mexico, in 1991, instituted that you had to have a government-issued photo ID that also has a thumbprint that they check on there. You have to go in person in order to register. You have to go in person again in order to pick up the ID. They will not send anything to you in the mail. They also completely banned in 1991 absentee ballots. And what you find is that after they had all those things, the voter turnout rate increased dramatically. It went from about 59% in the 3 presidential elections prior to the reforms to about 68% in the 3 presidential elections afterwards. And these were non-trivial costs that were imposed, nothing like is being talked about here in the United States. And in some of the Mexican states, people have to travel almost 100 miles to go to the only place to go and register within the state there. So you have to travel there to apply for the ID and travel back home and then travel back on a different date in order to pick up the ID and travel back again.
Yeah.
And you would think you would have a big drop in turnout, but when people around the world realize that their votes are more likely to count, they are more likely to vote. And the other thing is, it's hard. People around the world realize it can be difficult to catch vote fraud. And the reason is because if you're buying votes, both the buyer and the seller benefit from selling the votes and buying them and have an incentive to hide them. And there are a number of countries around the world that used to have voting rules like what we have in the United States for things like absentee ballots. But fortunately, they were lucky enough because in some cases people just got guilty consciences. So they came forward and said, in France in 1975, you had a couple people that went to the prosecutors who had been involved in literally buying hundreds of thousands of absentee ballot votes. And so at that point, France abolished the absentee ballots that they have there. There's no country in the world that has the mail-in ballots that we see in some states in the United States.
Well,
and the vast majority
frustrating.
ban simple absentee ballots.
It's so frustrating what we've done with absentee ballots, what we've done with mail-in ballots, what we've done with election month versus election day, that I think we, the people, would be very much better served if we could eliminate the mass mail-in ballots and election month early voting, I think we'd be much more secure in everything. As a matter of fact, John, before we came on the air today, one of the biggest stories that was breaking was that New Jersey had discovered it had, in fact, a massive fraud in its own DMV registration, that there were thousands of people who registered, 6,600 people who should not have been registered to vote. Now, around 400 of them voted, so everyone's going to say, well, what does it matter? It matters a lot if you multiply it by 50 states all around this country. John, I don't want to miss out on our time.
There's one other thing you should mention there. That 6,600 are people who said that they weren't U.S. citizens but were still registered. We don't know the number of people who didn't inform the state that they weren't U.S. citizens that were registered.
Very good point. Before we get out of here, because time is always short when you're on the radio, you had another piece that is worth mentioning as well, that we should talk about. It's on Real Clear Politics, and it is related to New Jersey. Again, this Second Amendment opinion that the appeals court that struck down Jersey's ban on assault weapons and magazines holding more than 10 rounds. Does this mean every other state that has similar aggressive bans will have to reconsider theirs as well?
Well, that's going to be up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has a case from Chicago and Connecticut that's going to hear the oral arguments, will likely be in December this year. And, but this applies to the Third Circuit, which deals with Delaware and New Jersey. Both have assault weapons bans that are going to be found unconstitutional. The thing that was amazing with this case was that you had a number of Democrat-appointed judges who wanted to strike down the bans. In fact, the woman, Freeman, who wrote the majority decision there, was a Biden appointee. And it's a very strong opinion that she has there. So, hopefully that's showing that there's kind of a political break in the dam that's occurring. But you have 3 Biden appointees on the court. 2 of them definitely believe that the laws were unconstitutional. One kind of agreed with it. And the Obama judge that's on the court also believes that part of the bans were unconstitutional. So that was kind of amazing to see that much support among Democrats for saying that.
For me, John, it was stunning to see 3 Democrat-appointed judges on this court, on the Third Circuit, all think that AR-15s, assault weapons, as Democrats like to call it, that platform is okay, and they kind of differed. Some of them differed on the magazine capacity, but the fact that the firearm restriction was called unconstitutional really made me think that hopefully my state of Delaware, which makes life very difficult for Second Amendment fans, will have to reconsider theirs as well. But apparently we're going to have to wait until next summer if the Supreme Court hears the argument, and unless they give a
the Third Circuit case applies to Delaware now. Okay. So my guess is there'll very quickly be a district court using that opinion that will strike down Delaware's law. But for the rest of the country, outside of the Third Circuit, everybody from Illinois and California and Washington State and all those others, that will have to wait till next June probably.
Unless they make a decision and release the decision. Sometimes that happens. It's rare, but it does happen, so it's possible. But we have to wait at least till December to hear this go all the way to the Supreme Court. John Lott Jr., always great stuff. You got stuff on Town Hall. You got stuff on Real Clear Politics. You're on X with great information, and we appreciate you always making time for us, sir.
Well, thanks for being there, Mike. You make a difference.
Thank you. I hope so. I hope we do. I also would like to be able to drive around with my AR-15 in the trunk going to the range and not worry about breaking laws as I'm crossing into different states. We will see. Thank you, John Lott. There he goes. I'm going to take a break. You want to join the conversation, you can. Those of you in the YouTube chat room, especially you, Mangled Mush, you need to take a happy pill, sir. You can't have any fun, can you? I will respond in the chat as well. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet?
Not yet.
Do it today.
Okay.
At 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
We do. We do need education. No, we don't need thought control. I agree with you there, and I wish you people in the YouTube chat could hear the music. It's Pink Floyd. But I'll quit referencing the music right now. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on this Tuesday. Storm a-coming, apparently. I keep checking outside because we're getting all this weather fear porn thrown at us. And it makes everybody tense, especially when you live among the trees, as I do, surrounded by 70 and 80-foot tall trees.
You can see, I don't know if you were looking at the We'll Be Right Back screen, you could see a big line of cloud coverage starting to roll in over 30th Street Station. Yeah,
I was looking at that, but I was also looking at the Opelka 3000 weather app that I have on my phone as I'm looking right now. I'm under a tornado watch until 9 p.m. Watch better than warning, so I'm not really worried about it. But we are in a flood watch because we're kind of in a river area just down the street, but I'm in the higher ground. Thank God. I just worry about the wind comes through and starts dropping trees on houses. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. You know what else isn't a good thing? I think this may be one of the dumbest ideas Democrats have come up with in a long time. And it's in New York City, so we don't have to worry about it. However, I think, and DeSantis, you may need to look this up for me, does Sherelle Parker still allow the operation of the safe injection sites here in Philadelphia? Do we know that?
I have to double check it.
Because I know in New York they do. If you want to give yourself an injection with a drug, New York will give you the needle to do it just so they make sure you got yourself a nice clean needle. They got the clean needle program in New York. And today it was announced, the New York Post has the story, that the Mamdani administration has quietly made permanent a pilot program that they were testing out that pays junkies to return the used needles. So for every used needle you find, they will give you 20 cents. It's called the Community Syringe Redemption Program. And so it's fascinating to me that New York, which has a $126 billion budget for the next fiscal year, has also included $3 million to keep this program alive, making it permanent so that if you're wandering around the city, and trust me, if you've been to New York City, I'm sure if you walked around Kensington here, you probably see some needles on the ground as well, that every used needle, every dirty needle you find, you get 20 cents. I just don't think it's a good idea to have people walking around scouring the streets for old dirty needles and then carrying bags of dirty needles into wherever you're going. You know, when you watch the cop shows, when they're patting down the perp or the person they're stopping, they always say, do you have anything that can stick me or cut me in your pockets? And you can return up to 50 used syringes per day just by dropping them at the 8 designated sites all around the 5 boroughs of Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. I guess they don't have that problem in Staten Island because they don't list a needle redemption area in Staten Island, also known as Staten Italy. This just has to be possibly one of the dumbest ideas ever. I'm not a big fan of giving drug addicts needles. I'm certainly not a fan of incentivizing the payment of returning. Trade in your needles. Give us your old needles. We'll give you new needles. We're not helping people get off the drugs. We are assisting them in staying addicted. And I guess that's what they want. All right, taking a break, wrapping up the first hour. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The Bloomberg Market Minute sponsored by Piazza Premium, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Just ahead of Wall Street's closing bell, stocks are on track to end the day higher as investors brush off worries about the escalating attacks between the U.S. and Iran and buy up beaten-down chipmaker shares, betting on more spending ahead on AI. Right now, the Dow is up 0.75%. The tech-heavy NASDAQ up 1.25% thanks to big gains in Micron Technology up 11%. Intel up 8%. The S&P ahead by 0.9%. Among the big gainers, the pretzel and potato chip maker Utz, based in Pennsylvania, shares up almost 90%. It's being taken private by a German snack maker for about $3 billion. General Motors shares up 5%, boosting its full-year revenue forecast by another $500 million by selling a ton of high-margin pickups and SUVs. And the Port of Long Beach, California, on Wednesday will sign an agreement with the Transportation Department to test out using commercial vehicles at the port that are powered by small modular nuclear fission reactors. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
The fireworks aren't just in the sky. They're on our lot this July. At Tri-County Toyota, get explosive savings like a new 2026 Toyota Tundra with 2.99% APR financing. Don't wait for the finale. These deals go boom and then they're gone. Visit us at 15 D&L Drive or online at TriCountyToyota.com. 3 counties, 1 priority. You with approved credit. Final price includes a $4.90 doc fee. Expires August 3rd, 2026.
Employee pricing isn't just for employees anymore. For a limited time only this July, everyone saves at Closet Factory, Philadelphia. Schedule your free design consultation today at closetfactory.com. That's closetfactory.com.
Retirement. Exciting, but also kind of scary. How do you create that paycheck to do everything you want to do? Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturday afternoons at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, this is Larry Steinis with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
Hit the road this season to watch the Birds. Book your road trip with Fans of Philly. Trips are available now for Nashville, Arizona, Chicago, and London. Travel in style with transportation, a pregame party, and game tickets to enjoy the Birds on the road this season with Fans of Philly. The official travel partner of 94 WIP and the Eagles Radio Network. Book now at fansofphilly.com. That's fans with a PH of Philly.com.
You know what I love? American-made products, baby. That's right. It's Rich Zioli. American-made products, and that's what you get from Emmons Roofing and Siding. Owens Corning shingles are made in New Jersey. Certainteed siding made right outside of Philly. Provia windows and doors handcrafted in Ohio. And because Emmons is platinum with Owens Corning, your roof comes with a lifetime workmanship warranty. That's accountability on American-made quality from an American company right in our backyard. EmmonsRoofing.com. EmmonsRoofing.com.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
My name's Michaela. I joined the Army at 17. When I got back from Iraq a few years ago, I became pregnant and ended up homeless.
No veteran should ever face homelessness. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is working hard to end veteran homelessness by the end of 2015. VA offers programs to help eligible veterans stay healthy, find a job, and secure or maintain safe, stable housing. With a simple call to 877-424-3838, specialists can connect veterans to the services and support they have earned, regardless of their branch or era of service.
My life works now. I got help from VA, and now I'm on a mission to share these resources.
VA is here to help. If you or a veteran you know is homeless or at immediate risk of becoming homeless, call 877-424-3838 or chat online at va.gov/homeless.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
New rules, New Jersey. If you have an e-bike, riders must be at least 15, hold a valid driver's license, or an e-bike special license.
There is a designated bike lane inside of my development, and I see these kids in the neighborhood that have these little e-scooters, and they're I call them the Bluebell Bike Bandits because they're a pain in the ass. They don't adhere to any of the rules. They're 12 years old. I don't expect them to know the rules. Like, where the hell are their parents at?
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
WPHT, WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
He's a voice that cuts right through. Truth is hard, wild and true. Turn it up, feel that sound. Mike Opelka's in your town.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Mike Opelka with you. Thanks for being here. I am here today, and I am here tomorrow. Unless something changed, I'm not here the rest of the week, right, DeSantis? I mean, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Correct. I think tomorrow and Friday is Casey Bartholomew.
No, tomorrow's me.
I mean, sorry, Thursday, Friday is Casey Bartholomew.
That's right.
You are
Okay.
tomorrow, yes.
It's hard to keep up with all the rotating hosts. Even those of us who are rotating hosts have a hard time keeping up with it. But I've been gone for a while. I'm glad to be back, wrapping up a kind of a 5-day stint. I was here last Thursday and Friday, and now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We were talking about potato chips earlier because it's National Junk Food Day, and I enjoy a great potato chip. I enjoy the Wegmans house chips are pretty good. And then Terry from Moorestown called and said, you got to try the Boulder Canyon. I have tried them. They are delicious, fried in avocado oil and very good. DeSantis eats some kind of wallpaper paste that's deep fat fried and goes under the name of Pringles. No idea.
I was going to try the Boulder Canyon chips, but I just looked at the ingredients, and I didn't see monodiglycerides or maltodextrin anywhere, so I don't know how safe those are.
You're probably right. So you will probably live to be about 300 years old because of all of the preservatives you've consumed with all of the crap. Is that the worst thing you eat? Would you venture to say that Pringles are the worst thing you put in your body?
I mean, I would love to tell you that it almost certainly is, but I think I'd be lying to you, myself, and the audience. You know I love McDonald's, Mike, and there's no way that's healthier than a tube of Pringles.
A tube of Pringles. Just
they come
think
in a
about
tube,
that.
yeah.
You order a tube of Pringles, and they're all exactly the same. It's Frankenfood. It really is. Look, for years I was a gigantic fan of Chick-fil-A, mostly for the fries. And then I did the ingredient reading of what's in the French fries, and I've kind of wandered away from the Chick-fil-A ranch, if you will. I'm no longer a devotee. I no longer have pangs on Sunday when I realize they're not open. But if you have a junk food that is your junk food Hall of Fame, what's on your junk food Mount Rushmore? If we were doing cheesy radio bits, we would do that. That would be a fun thing to do. You're welcome at any time. 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. A lot of chatter about the junk food in the YouTube channel as well. Doug Kelly joining us a little bit. We'll talk about the American Edge Project as it relates to artificial intelligence. I use it. I use Grok a lot, although I think the version of Grok that I use is Super Grok. That's it. It's Grok with a cape. I use Grok with a cape. I use Super Grok because I pay for that blue check mark on Twitter X, and it gives you a few extra things. And I use ChatGPT every now and then, and I don't use really any other AI. DeSantis, are you an AI client?
I like ChatGPT. I'll use Gemini occasionally. That's what we have through Odyssey. We have an Odyssey Gemini account. I actually saw an interesting a list. It was how frequently these AI websites or sites have a bias one way or the other, like left-leaning or right-leaning. And actually the one that is the most fair, apparently, is Gemini, and ChatGPT is the worst. Left-leaning, I mean.
Well, I think we should play this before we get Doug Kelly in here, just to show you that AI is not perfect, and you should always make an attempt to verify, maybe get a second artificial intelligence opinion. I was stumbling around the web and saw a video of a guy who was quizzing an artificial intelligence assistant to help him out, and the thing was wrong, and it was wrong repeatedly, and then he would correct it, and the assistant would be very apologetic but still get it wrong. And it's just absolutely astounding to me. You have that clip ready for us, DeSantis? The one,
Yep.
I think it was in yesterday's. This is just absolutely stunning to me.
How many E's are in the word 17?
There are no E's in the word 17. Even though it sounds like it might, the letters are SEVENTEEN, so it has 3 E's, not 0. I misspoke initially.
No, wait, I just counted there's 4.
You're totally right. I counted them again, and there are indeed 4 E's and 17.
No,
Thanks
wait,
for catching
no, wait, I just counted and now there's 5, actually.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Let's break it down carefully. The letters in 17 are SEVENTEEN, so you're right, there are 5 E's. Thanks for your patience on that.
No, wait, I just counted and there's 20.
I get what you mean. It's super easy to lose track. Let's slow down. I'll list them out. The letters in 17 are SEVENTEEN, so that's actually 5 again, not 20. If I'm missing something, just let me know.
Oh, wait, there's actually only 2.
No worries. Yeah, you're absolutely right this time. There are just 2 E's in 17.
No, wait, there's 1. There's only 1.
Okay. I see what you mean now. Yes, there's only 1 E in 17. I really appreciate your patience while we sorted that out.
Thanks, because I wasn't sure.
Unbelievable. And yet I checked with Grok to see if this was real, because there's a little button in the top of the Twitter page where you can push and say, is this true? And it will give you whether or not this is artificial intelligence creating this video that's meant to prove that AI is incorrect. But this guy is doing this on several different levels, trying to test the response from artificial intelligence. And in the end, what we're doing is, I believe what we're doing with AI is building a group of dummies who don't know how to think. And we need to teach people how to think before we turn technology loose on them, or they will be subject to the flaws of that technology, and we will have a race of idiots running. And maybe there are some people who think we've already gotten to that point, that we already have a race of idiots, and they will be useful idiots taken by the Democrat socialists who are trying to get inside. Now, yesterday we talked about the Democrat socialists ad nauseum. We went through it and showed you a lot of what the Democratic socialists are trying to foist upon us. And the Democrat Party is starting to get very nervous about it. The Democrat Party is starting to say, hang on a second, this is not who we want in charge. They realize that people like the Democrat socialist Daralisa Avila Chevalier, these are dangerous people. They're going to win their elections because they won primaries in reliably blue areas, and now they're going to be in Congress and they're going to have power. For example, this lady Daralisa was asked if Hakeem Jeffries should be Speaker of the House if the Democrats do get control of the House of Representatives. And what did she say?
I asked you when you were here for the mini debate if Hakeem Jeffries should be Speaker, and you said it was too early because you were focused on the race. The race is over. Should he be Speaker?
I'm still working to build out, the structures of co-governance that I'm so excited to model for others across the country, but for this district in particular, and to have those conversations with the community, because I think the first vote that I make will set the tone for the kind of leadership that this district will have, and I want to make sure that I'm making that vote with the considerations of the community in mind.
So the question was, should Hakeem Jeffries be Speaker? And she did not answer yes or no. But for my money, she answered no. Let's put yourself, DeSantis, in Hakeem Jeffries' shoes. Do you think Ms. Chevalier is a person you can rely on?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is the same person that claimed Kamala Harris wasn't progressive enough for her. So I don't imagine she's going to be a huge fan of the existing Democrat leadership. So bad news for Hakeem.
Existing Democrat leadership is nervous, and here's why. I want to compare the DSA to COVID, the COVID virus, because I think what happened with COVID is exactly what's happening with the Democrat socialists. I think the Democrats were trying a little bit of an okey doke. Follow me on this. And if you disagree with me, tell me. 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I think the Democrats were trying to create an environment where the squad, the left side of the establishment Democrats, the AOCs, the Ilhan Omars, the Ayanna Presleys, I think they were trying to create, the Rashida Tlaibs, they were trying to create an even farther left group of this small group of Democrat socialists that they would get into office, and then they would then co-opt them. And by using them as the farthest left, suddenly the squad looks less offensive, less troublesome. It is the theory of the Overton window. If the Overton window moves further left than it is today, those people who used to be on the left are now in the middle. And I think the Democrats were playing around with this and pulling these people into their big tent. And suddenly, those people have now got an enormous amount of power. And the Democrats realize, oh, my God, we could be screwed. Not only could these people shiv us and not put Hakeem Jeffries into the speaker role if they get control of the House, but they just might take over the whole damn party. And I feel like this is exactly what happened with COVID. The Chinese were messing around with weaponizing the virus. It got out of the lab in Wuhan, and then they couldn't control it. I feel like the Democrat socialists have gotten out of the lab, and they are dragging the party into an area where the rank and file are going to be very nervous about it. And there are establishment Democrats. Nancy Pelosi talked about it last week, was very upset, very nervous about it, but she realizes she's done. She's going to take her $250 million and hightail it somewhere else where she doesn't have to deal with it. She'll be safe. She got hers. And it might even be she's going to do it by herself because her husband did get charged over the weekend with that hit and run. So maybe she'll be a free woman with a couple $100 million. Who knows? But John Fetterman's not afraid to raise his voice on this. Senator John Fetterman, who kind of is an elected official without a party, was actually mad about Bernie Sanders, who's been palling around with the Democrat socialists. Bernie Sanders, who is the father figure of the Democratic Socialists, who's out there helping a bad dude in this Michigan Senate candidate, Abdul El-Sayed. Here's Fetterman.
The new socialist in place of Graham Plattner that they're rallying behind. What do you think of him?
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. You know, Bernie is there campaigning for this guy. You know, humble yourself, Bernie. You know, you just push an accused rapist and imploded up in Maine, and now you're pushing, essentially a pro-Hamas candidate that's been anti-American and deeply anti-Israel. You know, he's a socialist that earned $700,000 last year. His wife, in private practice, she refuses to accept Medicaid for that. I mean, you know, he's a phony, and he has said incredibly anti-American thing.
Yeah, but he'll probably get elected. He's relying on the Dearborn, Michigan group of Democrats to get him elected. That's the group of people in Michigan who were more upset about the death of the Ayatollah, and so that's why he couldn't talk about it. Fetterman went on to say that he's threatening to leave the Democrat Party, and it is due to the anti-Semitism of his party and people like Abdul El-Sayed.
You've said that if the Democratic Party becomes officially and overtly hostile to Israel, that might cause you to leave the party, to become an independent, to be clear, not to become a Republican. This week, there was a vote in the House to cut off more than $3 billion in military aid to Israel. There are 212 House Democrats. 103 of them voted to cut off that aid. The people voting included former Speaker Nancy Pelosi voting to cut off aid. When do you view the party as becoming officially overtly anti-Israel? When it's all of the House Democrats doing that? When it's a majority? Because you're pretty close right there with 103 out of 212.
Well, candidates run on a platform. And if that becomes the Democratic platform, that we will now ever vote for any aid and will turn our back on Israel, then that makes me to make that decision as really what a Democrat should stand for, or being a part of my party for me. Now, Jake, I've said this, that if I change my party spontaneously right now, my views and my votes aren't going to change. It's really more of a statement how, and if you look at the kind of people that are winning our primaries, their centerpieces of their campaign is anti-Israel kinds of rhetoric, whether it's in my state or it's whether in New York City and what's happening in Colorado now too. If you believe the Democratic Party's future is rooted in describing Israel as apartheid state or genocidal, and they don't deserve to have our support, that forces me to say, is this really make sense for me as a Democrat with these views continue to actually intensify?
Fetterman is a guy with principles. You may not agree with his votes. He does vote his principles. If he were to say, I'm leaving the Democrat Party, I would not say it's a reliable thing to have him in the Republican Party, but he has principles. He recognizes that the state of Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East, will suffer if the Democrats vote against helping Israel. I'm a longtime fan of us providing aid to Israel because we get definitely more back than we give them. But now what Fetterman's concerned about is that the mayor of New York has been talking openly about having the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrested when he comes to New York for a UN meeting, which, that happens every September. The world shows up in New York and screws up traffic for a couple of weeks, and it's a mess. But the mayor of New York has talked openly about this, and it's just not a good idea because not only can he not do it, it hurts one of our biggest allies, but he's still talking about it.
He comes in September.
Look, I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who has been charged by the International Criminal Court. And what you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years. I've also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
Meaning? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
Meaning that whatever the law allows me to do in New York City, that's what we will do, but we won't be writing our own laws to that end.
What does the law allow you to do?
That's an active conversation with our legal department in seeing what the prospects are we have here in our municipality. However, what we've seen at the national level is a desire sometimes to write your own laws, to go outside of the bounds of legality. That's not something we have an interest in.
You know what really makes me uncomfortable about this guy, and if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I hope you're noticing it. He smiles all the time. He's telling you he's just going to do whatever the hell he wants. This guy's smiling and telling you we're going to do whatever the hell we want. There's nothing you can do about it. New York is so screwed. You have no idea how bad it's going to get, New York. You have 3.5 more years of this guy. However, something happened last night on CNN. After Mamdani said that, CNN actually told the truth about this. Their senior legal analyst, Eli Honig, was asked about Mamdani's fever dream to arrest the Prime Minister of Israel, and he had this to say.
So, Eli, give us a reality check here. Can Mamdani have Netanyahu arrested?
Absolutely not. It is utterly ridiculous for the mayor of New York City to even suggest that he might have the authority to order the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu or any visiting foreign head of state. First of all, the mayor of New York City has zero law enforcement authority. He does not tell the Manhattan DA, the NYPD, who to arrest, who to indict. Second of all, this warrant that we're talking about here was issued by the ICC, the International Criminal Court, which we are not signatories to here in the United States. So that warrant issued by the ICC has zero legal effect here in the United States. In fact, We have a federal law here in the U.S. passed 24 years ago that says, if necessary, the president can send military troops to pull our people and our allies out of the ICC. So that warrant has zero impact. And third and finally, Brianna, the Constitution is quite clear that the conduct of foreign diplomacy, foreign affairs, is entirely up to the federal government. It's certainly not up to local and county governments in New York City or elsewhere. So I know the mayor's having his best lawyers look at this right now. Let me save them some time. You do not have the authority to do this.
All right, Ellie.
No
Very
power to do
clear.
it. Got no power to do it. I'm proud of CNN for actually doing a little truthful reporting in journalism, but it doesn't make up for the other lies they're telling. And in 2002, the Federal American Service Members Protection Act prohibits local law enforcement agencies, which would be the NYPD, from cooperating with the International Criminal Court. But that just tells you what these socialists want. They're the ones who would also go to the United Nations Declaration of Independence and Declaration of Rights, which would basically guarantee housing, clothing, a job, food, vacations to everyone, which would turn us into a communist country. Not what we want. All right, we got to take a break. I know I've been rambling on about this, but I think this is a big stinking deal. And Mamdani and the Democrats, they are tilting so far left. But in the end, will it make AOC look reasonable? Will it make Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib? Will it make those people sound like they're the normal Democrats? Just can't have us going towards socialism and communism. It's all capitalism. A very interesting chat in the YouTube channel, which maybe we'll get to it. You guys have stumbled into something that I think is a pretty hot topic. The revival of people who are overdosed on drugs and are using Narcan. Is it okay to bring people back even though they didn't ask for it? Something my wife and I have debated, because we watch all these cop shows and they come along and they stumble into people who are passed out or have nearly checked out from some kind of fentanyl overdose. And one side of the family says, don't bring them back. And the other side says, yes, bring them back. Interesting moral dilemma. But we have to talk about artificial intelligence. So we will do that with Doug Kelly from the American Edge Project just around the corner. It's Mike Opelka. It's Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
It's that time of year when the Zeoli Army becomes the Zeoli Navy and we storm the beaches of Cape May. Hey, it's Rich Zeoli. We're going to be live at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey, Friday, August 7th for a 4-hour show, just like the good old days, 3 to 7 p.m. at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. So come on a Friday in August and enjoy your fellow friends. Make some memories together with me at the Grand Hotel of Cape May, Friday, August 7th. See you there.
This year, America celebrates 250 years, 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. To the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Are you tired of climbing over that dirty, old, slippery tub? Your bathtub should be beautiful, functional, and safe. PJ Fitzpatrick is pleased to offer the Jacuzzi Shower System, installed in just 1 day, featuring low entry thresholds and designer walls and fixtures. you'll step right into luxury. Plus, PJ is offering a free shower seat and safety bars for all customers this month. Schedule your free design consultation at trustpj.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Lendseek.
Electronic Arts blockbuster franchise Madden NFL is coming to Apple's subscription gaming service, Apple Arcade. Madden NFL 27 Arcade Edition will run on all of Apple's hardware, including iPhones, iPads, and Macs, while supporting cross-device play. Madden NFL 27 Arcade will also feature a narrative messaging system that provides scenarios tied to player and team performance. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
When it comes to your home, you shouldn't have to roll the dice with a small contractor or pay the high prices of a giant one. At Lemus Remodeling Group, a family-owned company, you get the perfect balance. Expert exterior remodeling from a team that's nationally recognized and neighborhood trusted. From roofing and siding to windows, doors, and gutters, the Lemus team delivers quality work, honest pricing, and a home that feels brand new. Call 610-GO-LEMUS to schedule your free consultation today or visit their website at golemus.com. Lemus Remodeling Group. Trust Lemus for a lifetime.
This is Len Lundy of Lundy Law. Every year, millions are hurt in car accidents. The numbers are overwhelming. But if you're injured in an accident, don't feel overwhelmed. Call Lundy Law. We remove the stress and get you the maximum compensation you deserve. We hope we never meet because of an accident. But if we do, we're here for you. Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Mike Opelka with you today. Happy to be here, thrilled to be here. And despite as ominous as the weather looks outside, it's really looking nasty here outside the Freedom Bunker in northern Delaware. And I looked at the train station. Things are getting kind of dark outside for 4:38 in the afternoon. Keeping our eyes on the Senate hearing, where the Democrats are doing everything they can do to show their displeasure with President Trump grilling the Secretary of War, as we are asking for, the administration is asking for more money to keep the war going against Iran, to make that a winning prospect. I don't know if we have the right answer on that yet. I'm one of the people who's just a touch dubious if we have this fully war gamed out yet, and I hope we get that done. I'm a big supporter in making sure Iran never has a nuclear weapon. But I also like the $3 and $2.50 gallon gas. That's kind of a good thing. We put a poll up just a few minutes ago because I noticed all of you in the YouTube chat were pretty active about a very interesting social question. And that is, should first responders automatically give Narcan to people they come upon, drug addicts they come upon who have overdosed? It's really kind of a very tough question. I know one of you said, hey, that's a tough question. Yes, it is. It is a tough question. And the other easy question today is, what's your junk food of choice? It is National Junk Food Day. My kryptonite is potato chips. I admitted that. DeSantis eats fake potato chips. They are Pringles, which I don't trust anything that looks exactly like the last one you ate. I just don't think there's anything normal about that. It's really disturbing. But you do you, DeSantis. I'm happy to let you have your little Pringle habit. And then we're monitoring a very hot topic, and that is artificial intelligence. I am a consumer of artificial intelligence. I use SuperGrok all the time. I also use ChatGPT. My wife loves ChatGPT, uses it for designing things, uses it to help her create articles as well. And I think it's a great tool, but it can also be a tool that would like to turn itself into our master. And so that makes me nervous. But then I see that we're maybe possibly falling behind China when it comes to artificial intelligence. And so we reached out to the American Edge Project, and Doug Kelly is joining us to talk about this because there's an event happening here in Philadelphia, the Techna Summer Conference happening here relating to artificial intelligence, and we got to get Doug's input on that. Doug, welcome to the program, sir. Are we falling behind China on AI? Are we at risk of losing the AI advantage?
We have a slight edge right now, but we are definitely in risk of losing this race. Look, there's 4 drivers of AI leadership: energy, adoption, AI model strength, as well as making sure we got the talent and skills to be able to build and maintain these centers. And we're only ahead in one of these areas, Mike. That's compute power or data centers. But there's a lot of politicians around the country that want to say, hey, you know what? Let's not build any data centers in this country, even though that's our single advantage against China right now. We can't build the infrastructure of the future if we decide we're not going to build anything at all.
Hey, Doug, why can't we task an AI data center to come up with the best way to power AI data centers? Can't AI figure that out for us?
Well, here's the thing, is that there's been 30 years of government studies that have said our infrastructure on the energy side is not built for our 21st century ambitions, right? Most of our service lines are more than 50 years old, and China generates more than twice the amount of electricity we do. So when it comes to data centers and powering AI, China looks at that as a solved problem, and we're struggling with it in every single state in the country. So we want to be able to use this AI right now is America's modern-day moonshot moment, so that we're making sure that we're building this 21st century infrastructure that we need on the electricity and transmission side so that we don't run into these problems again and that we can power all of our ambitions. Because at the end of the day, we're in this neck-and-neck race with China, and it matters which country builds the future.
It does matter to me that we are ahead of China on these kinds of things, because I think our intentions are more honorable than China's are ultimately. I think we will be better for the globe that way. But I have questions. You say China produces how much more energy than we produce?
Twice as much every year.
Well,
and
now,
there's a reason for it.
But Doug, isn't it safe to say they have a population advantage in that way? They have population need that calls for that, because they have 4 times our population. So why shouldn't they have twice as much energy as we have?
So 15 years ago, we were basically tied in how much energy we generated each year.
Okay.
But China said, look, we have to, if we're going to bypass America, and their goal is to become the global superpower by 2049, 100 years after communism took over there. Their goal is to become the global superpower. And they said energy and technology are our key drivers of that. So each year they've invested tens and hundreds of billions of dollars more than the U.S. in every single aspect of its energy infrastructure. The result is 15 years ago we were tied. Now they're generating twice as much electricity as us. It's a similar thing with AI, right? They've had a national plan since 2017 for AI, and they're nipping at our heels right now.
Well, the question is then, how do we surpass them? China relies mostly on coal to generate power from the old-fashioned dirt-spewing coal-fired power plants. Is the answer for us to move our energy and our power generation more towards nuclear? Or I'm dubious of solar and wind, because obviously that's not the answer. But what is the answer for us overtaking China and their energy development?
It's a great question. Here's the answer. We have to take an all of the above approach. We have to make sure we have thermal sources. We have to make sure we have nuclear sources. We have to make sure we have clean energy sources and a lot of battery storage power. Renewables will work, but you have to be able to store that energy somewhere in these large batteries. There's plenty of American companies that build those, including some right here in Pennsylvania. And so we got to take an all of the above approach, not just a generation, but also transmission lines that need to move that energy from one spot of the country to the other to power data centers and all of our other needs.
Well, that's a huge infrastructure project, and I would imagine, Doug Kelly, with the American Edge project, if you're talking about creating transmission lines that can then send that power all over this country, that's kind of along the lines of the interstate project that was happening back in the 50s and 60s in this country, is it not?
Bingo. We are a nation of builders, right? We look at our history, right? We built canals, we built railroads, we built highways, we built the internets, we built the electricity grid. This AI infrastructure of data centers and energy, this is our next step of infrastructure for our country. And we've always had a bias to building. Every single project that I talked about there, the highways, et cetera, they came with controversies. They came with local concerns. But we addressed those concerns, and because we had a bias to build those things and get them done, we enjoyed decades of prosperity at the federal level and at the state and local level as well. We're in that same moment right now where we have to have that bias to build while addressing community concerns.
Yeah, the community concerns, obviously, I'd be one of the people who would say, hey, I don't want my utility rates to go through the roof. I'd like my water to remain clean and plentiful. And we hear horror stories from some of the people that live close to some of these data centers that say, hey, my electricity rates went through the roof. My water is nasty. And then we hear there's discussion of putting the data centers on military bases or on government property or maybe in national parks or maybe in Native American tribal lands. Are there any dangers to doing that versus building them privately on private land?
The biggest danger that we have in this country is not building what we need to compete with China. Now, I'm not dismissing local concerns at all about energy cost or water usage or siting locations, right? There's dozens of stories of where a big data center is right near a residential development. Look, these things should be sited smartly and located in places where they're not disrupting the community. But at the same time, tech companies are more than willing to say, we will pay for the infrastructure that we need for this. We will bring our own power, and that will help reduce rates overall for residents under ratepayer protection plans because they're adding more electricity to the grid. This is like I said, this is our modern day moonshot moment. And if we seize it and grab it and build like we always have, we're going to come out ahead. If we walk away from it, then China is going to be the leader in the globe's digital future, dictating our future.
And what does that mean, Doug? Because that's a question.
Yeah.
We lose this to China. What does that mean? I know we always compare to the moonshot moment. This is the 57th. This week is the 57th anniversary of America putting the first two guys on the moon who walked around there and then came home safely. And it kind of broke the spirit of Russia when we got there first and then did it repeatedly, and no one else has done it. What would it mean to America if China suddenly became the dominant leader in artificial intelligence?
Yeah, the historical parallel is really kind of eerie, right? We were racing against an authoritarian adversary who had fundamentally different values than we do in a technology that was new and somewhat frightening to people. Well, once Russia beat us in the space race, Kennedy said, hey, no, we are going to the moon and back in the next 10 years, and this is how we're going to do it. What it did was it unlocked a lot of talent, training, education, jobs, and decades of strategic advantages in national security and economic growth for America. We're at that same moment now. Now, the common thing is that both China and Russia's technology, there's values that are built within those. Their values, China's values, are censorship, control, and surveillance. That's what they want to export to the world. Whereas American technology, look, we don't always get it right, but our tech is basically built on democracy, opportunity, and openness. Those are two very different value sets that you're serving up to the world. And that's why American technology has to be number one here at home, but also be the global standard so that freedom can continue around the globe and not recede the way China wants it to.
So would China, if China has this advantage or became the leader in this, would China be selling their AI technology to the rest of the world as opposed to America selling its technology? And who's in third place right now? Is there anybody else out there competing with both of us?
Yeah, there's nobody really in third place. I mean, Europe wants to be, but there's really two dogs in this fight. And unlike the space race where Russia was a little bit like a third world country with a lot of nuclear weapons, China's a full spectrum competitor economically, militarily. They have an ideology they want to spread. Like, they're a really tough opponent. And so, like I said, it matters which country builds the future. China is aggressively exporting its technology all across the globe. We have to do the same. So what that means is that we have to make sure our products are the very best. We have to use digital diplomacy to make sure that every one of our allies is working with us towards checking China's influence and also adopting the American AI stack, all the different components of it. But also at home here, it means that we have to embrace AI and what it means to our future. We've done polling that shows voters get that AI uses electricity, but they're in favor of it if the promises of AI, like faster disease cures, better diagnoses, improvements in education, and improvements in standard living, if those promises come true, people are all behind AI. And so, like I said, this is our moment to build our future, not step away from it.
Now, here's an interesting twist on this, Doug Kelly, and I'm kind of fascinated by your take on all this. I love the comparison to the moon landing and the challenge. It took us a decade, or as Kennedy said, a decade for us to get to the moon and back. That was mostly private government, not private companies. At this point, it's really 4 Silicon Valley-based entities, trillion-dollar companies, that are driving this. Is there a government partnership with these companies that will make sure that it's America leading? Because China has one company. China is the company, so they don't have any competition that I would think would drive excellence forward, but they also have the ability to focus and move as quickly as they would like. Whereas the private industry, should this be something, in your opinion, that the government should be more in control of AI development here in America?
Well, man, you are getting right at the heart of the issue. The way you win a Super Bowl is, as Philadelphia knows, and not my own Detroit Lions.
Defense.
The way you
Defense,
win a Super Bowl is with a single playbook.
Yeah.
Right now, we have 50 different playbooks in this country. There's 1,800 regulations on AI that states have proposed. There's no kind of single strategic plan for this. What we need is a single playbook that allows each of the actors to play their best and highest role. What that means is this. It means we got to let our private sector innovators compete and innovate against China. That's what they do the best. The federal government has to set a wide left rail and right rail guardrails for AI and what it can and shouldn't do, but at the same time knock down all these different pieces of red tape and barriers to innovation. But the states, instead of trying to regulate AI models, the states have a really critical role to play in helping us bridge the gap of where we're behind China in the AI race. That means investing in energy, investing in transmission, investing in the skilled trades talent that we need, and boosting adoption. And do you know which state is the single best state that's doing that? Yours, Pennsylvania. You guys are a model state in this. Absolutely.
Is that why this
number one energy leader? Yes.
Is that why the conference is here? Is that why the Techna Summer Conference is here? Well, that's a good thing to hear. I know New York fumbled the ball. I know New Jersey has fumbled the ball. I know a lot of states that are blue states have really pushed back against both energy development and the kind of data center development that you're talking about. So I understand there is an issue here. This is really interesting to me. It's a battle that no one's talking about. Nobody's talking about America versus China and the AI war, which is really what's going on, because at the end of the day, somebody's going to win this. I don't think these are going to exist in a parallel situation. Someone's going to be the top choice, just like it was in the moonshot. Where do we go to find out more, Doug Kelly? Where should we be going to track this all the time?
You can come to our website, AmericanEdgeProject.org, to find more of what I spoke about. Let me add one final thing that I think is important not to get lost in this debate, and that is building data centers is a local economic engine of growth. It creates jobs, thousands of jobs in the construction phase, hundreds of additional jobs once the data centers are done. It creates hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue that then fund local priorities, and the biggest beneficiaries of these tools are small businesses and communities who are using them to hire more people and become more profitable. So all the way around, whether it's a strategic competition with China, local economic development, data centers are something this country needs for our AI infrastructure for us to set the pace and tone going forward.
One last question for you, Doug Kelly. I know you got 2 college-age kids. What are they studying?
My son lives in New York City. He's a great budget analyst. And does tremendous work there. My daughter is in communications, and she's a relatively avid AI user as well.
Very good.
So they see the future. They're embracing it, and they're doing great things. But the biggest user of AI in my family is my 85-year-old dad. He was very skeptical of it, and I said, Dad, come on. I got the AI in my pocket here. Ask it your toughest question. He's an electrician, right? So he asks him a tough question. 5 seconds later, it gives him this answer, and he's like, I asked it a trick question and he answered it correctly. So now he uses it for everything from planting his garden to fixing his garage to fixing his car. So people need to give AI that first moment of truth. Use it, ask it your toughest question, and see how it can improve your daily life and take tasks off your back.
What a cool bonding moment between you and your dad. I love that. Thank you for tolerating my questions and spending time. It's a subject I think we don't know enough about, and yet I think it's going to be something that's going to be critical to all of our lives going forward. Doug Kelly with the American Edge Project, we appreciate you for being there, sir.
Thanks for having me.
There he goes, and here I go. I got to take a break. Just around the corner, Guy Shiraki is going to join us. We asked the question earlier. We shut down the poll on the guy who slapped the sitting anthem guy at Wrigley Field. I wonder if Shiraki has ever noticed that at a ball game. We'll talk to Coach Guy and talk about his latest pieces that he's got out there. It's Opelka on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless-leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks, like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 267-223-7162 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 267-223-7162 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 267-223-7162 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinic treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 267-223-7162.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Kia of CherryHill.com wants to save you money at the pump this month with a brand new gas-sipping Kia. Get up to 53 miles per gallon on our huge selection of K4s, K5s, Seltos, Sportage hybrids, Sorrentos, and more. And with MSRP starting under $25,000, anyone can afford to start saving money at the pump today. Just minutes from all bridges or online 24/7 at KiaofCherryHill.com. Again, that's KiaofCherryHill.com.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
The summer heat means it's that time of year to crank up the AC again. To keep your home cooling more efficiently and help save you on high energy bills, better go Guida and finally replace your old drafty, inefficient windows and doors at Guida Door and Window. Right now, Guida is offering their best discounts of the year with their big 40% off summer sales event on all expertly installed windows and doors. You'll receive 40% off each window you buy. That's right, 40% off all high-performance, energy-efficient triple pane windows. And you'll receive 40% off any door, including insulated entry doors, patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. Plus, get your project started today with no money down and pay it off interest-free for up to 18 full months. All prior sales excluded. Minimum purchase required. Don't let these big discounts pass you by. Go Guida today to take advantage of these limited time savings by calling to schedule a free in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Dr. Craig is in Mullica Hill.
$825 he's raised for us.
I've got a police benevolent organization that's behind me, and if you can be there, support in person, and if you can't be there, exercise, diet, take good care of yourself, and for God's sake, make a good donation. BenToShore.org, and the team is Kale and Company.
What a promo. Thank you.
Dr. Craig.
Thank you, Dr. Craig.
Reading from a prepared statement, I would assume. That's a good job out of him.
No, he's just good on the fly.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. Students, when you hear the reason or reasons for your absences throughout the years, please exit the auditorium without your high school diploma. Once you've exited, remove your cap.
3% cash back with your Cash Reward MasterCard from American Heritage Credit Union. You'll earn 3% cash back for essentials like gas and groceries, 2% for travel and dining, and 1% for everything else, like your morning coffee. Make sure you earn a little extra when celebrating our nation's 250th anniversary this summer. Apply today at AmericanHeritageCU.org/cashback. Insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender. Not a member? Join today.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
As a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan, joining IAVA.org really helps in the transition home. It's a network of OIF and OEF vets like me who've got your back here, just like we did over there. That means when you need help navigating the GI Bill, we've got your back. And when you're dealing with the transition home, we've got your back. Or when you just want someone to share stories with, we've got your back. Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America is there for you. Join our community at IAVA.org. We've got your back.
Brought to you by IAVA and the Ad Council. I'm a radio guy. Always have been. I grew up with radio and still love it today. I love talk, music, and great personalities. I used to have satellite, and I've tried internet stations, but you know what? Local radio is still my favorite. Then I found HD radio. Now I get all the stations I've always listened to, plus a lot more I never knew were there. The coolest part? I bought an HD radio for just $50, and I pay no monthly subscription fees. So if you like radio, you'll love HD radio.
More stations, no monthly fees. HD radio, a good deal more.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Turn it up, crank the dial. Mike Opelka is back to make you smile. He's the voice that cuts right through. Back on 1210, Opelka's here for you. The truth has no agenda, and neither does he. So kick Opelka's in your town.
Well, I'm not in your town. I'm in my basement studio, and I looked outside during the break here, and boy, oh boy, it's dark, and we are getting a whole lot of thunder and lightning. So it looks like the storm has arrived, fully arrived. And I'm just hoping the power stays on. DeSantis, you better have a best of ready, just in case. Just in case I pull a Casey here. Because didn't his studio overheat a while back?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, out of nowhere, just nothing but dead air. Now, if I grab a segment to replay on the off chance you do drop, I know you're going to be totally fine. If I don't grab anything, I know you're going to drop. So I'm just going to grab something and reverse jinx us.
And if you do grab yesterday's segment on the robots.
Yes, sir.
Because I think that was... I'm still laughing at that. And if anybody missed it, we did post it on social media yesterday. We talked about a New York State school in junior and senior high schoolers were going to be educated by robots that look remarkably similar to the companion robots, using air quotes with my fingers. Except these are a lot cheaper. One assumes they don't have the fun parts already installed. But it was quite an educational segment for those of you who may get it. In case we drop out, or you can always consume it, which is available to you at any point after the show and after Zioli's show, which follows this show. I'm very happy that we have our next guest joining us, because one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, our buddy Coach Guy Shiraki, has made time for us today. He's got some columns we have to talk about, but Coach, we're talking about your business of sports and the coaching that you do. I know you coach girls softball, correct? That's
correct.
The big one.
Tryouts tonight. Tryouts tonight. Sign-ups on Facebook.
What are you doing, scuba tonight? Because it's going to be raining like a cow peeing on a flat rock.
We were ahead of the curve. We shifted to an indoor facility in King of Prussia late last week. We saw what was coming.
Very good. Very good. So tryouts tonight, King of Prussia. And do you want to tease it? Are you looking for some ringers? Do you need some talent to find you?
I need kids that'll put up with me and my dad humor is what I need.
Good. I'm sure you'll get them. We talked earlier about this situation at Wrigley Field that happened yesterday with a kid that was a young man. I think he's probably early 20s, maybe late teens, early 20s, was sitting during the national anthem, and a Vietnam vet was not happy about it, came up and told him he needed to stand. The kid didn't seem to be too interested, so he got what I called the nun slap to the back of the head. It's not like a full-on put your whole body into it and biatch slap him. It's kind of like move your hair higher. And the kid stood up, but it became a thing. And we're showing it on the screen right now. He's leaning over going, listen, kids, and he gave him a little bit, hey, get up there.
That's called smarten up. Hey, kids, smarten up. It's the flag. That's not a political statement. It's, come on, you're an American. The flag, it's the Star-Spangled Banner. Stand up, kid.
So on the Shiraki scale, you give this an approval? You're okay with this?
Yeah, in that context, in that very limited context of a veteran looking at a kid and it was not meant to hurt. It was more sort of smarten up, kid. Show some respect. You know, that's, I will tell you, on the other hand, I'm blessed. Mike, we talked about 27 seasons, a lot, and a lot of years as a fan, but 27 seasons of coaching, a lot of Star-Spangled Banners, a lot of players that sing the national anthem or sing God Bless America. Thank God, we've never had an incident. Everybody stands, everybody's respectful, everybody removes their hat. It's a very nice thing, and I'm very blessed that we've never had to cross that bridge.
Well, that's good news. I'm happy to hear that. And usually it seems the disrespect to the anthem was happening on bigger stages. It always seems like whenever we see a story about the national anthem and it's at at a little league game or at a minor league game, let's say the anthem tape breaks and the crowd suddenly sings the whole thing. It's usually a good story. Right. So this was at a major league park, and it always seems like it's the big league games that the higher up the food chain you get, the easier the disrespect is to be doled out. The other topic before we get to your columns, your two columns, and let's talk about the governor as well. Today is National Junk Food Day. What is Guy Shiraki's junk food kryptonite? What is that makes your knees buckle? In food. I'm not talking about anything else. I don't want to hear anything creepy.
No, the only thing there that makes it is my wife. Let's see. Food. My vices are ice cream and French fries.
Together or separately?
Not together. Not together. No, French fries and ice cream. I love anything with chocolate chips. So I like plain old chocolate chip, but there's a few places, including Handles, shameless plug for Handles in Berwyn, where they do sort of a raspberry chocolate chip. The raspberry chocolate chip and good French fries. The rest of even if the burger's lacking, if the fries are good, I'm there.
Yeah, and you're not one of those sweet potato fry people who tries to pretend you're eating healthy, are you?
No, but if you serve them to me, I won't throw them away. But given my choice, I want good old fashioned American French fries, freedom fries.
That's it, freedom fries. Remember that, freedom fries. The news broke earlier today that local junk food manufacturer Utz, the stock soared. I think it was up like 90% today because a German company has bought them out. I wonder if they thought they were a German company already with the name Utz. They make a good chip. They make a serviceable chip and some pretzels as well. Well, almost $3 billion spent to buy a local company. Good for them. I hope somebody got paid on that. Somebody got a giant chunk of change for that.
I hope so. They're Lancaster folks. Being a good Chester County resident, as you're in Delaware, you know that you're a stone's throw from Hers.
Yes.
So I have to give a shout out to our friends at Hers, they make a nice chip. Have given thousands of school tours to show kids how to make chips, and do a heck of a light show at Christmas time. By the way, if you haven't done it, it's about a 15-20 minute tour of their campus where it's like a mini Longwood Gardens. It's very impressive. It's worth the trip to go out to Hers. Yep.
So I need to
Shameless
make Hers
plug.
mine. That's very good. Yeah, I will put that on the list of maybe holiday adventures to go see. I love a good holiday light show, and here it is, the middle of summer. We're talking about how damn hot it is and the storm that's ripping through. But yeah, make your plans early. Go visit the Hers operation for Christmas. Good tip, Guy Shiraki. We should talk about the pieces you've got now. Yesterday, the governor decided he was going to rip the president and talk about his speech from last Thursday night, called it crazy, had all kinds of nasty things to say about the speech. Did you happen to see the governor's comments on this?
Well, if you're on social media, you can't miss them because he clips them. The governor's office clips them. He has 13 fake web tags or fake Twitter handles. So, yeah, I've seen it. This is what I called contrived outrage. In the business of politics and advising elected officials, I say, go out and make news, commit news. This is contrived outrage. I mean, the president spoke a week ago. It took the governor a week to determine how much outrage he should have, and then he had a moment of contrived outrage. It's interesting that his contrived outrage is less than 24 hours before the neighboring governor in New Jersey said, flag timeout upon further review. We have at least 6,600 people on the voter rolls that aren't citizens. So maybe Governor Shapiro would like a do-over. Maybe he'd like to look at his own voter rolls and see how many people, air quotes, accidentally are registered to vote twice, are accidentally dead, or accidentally registered and they're not citizens. So, look, when in danger, when in doubt, Governor Shapiro will yell at the president because he doesn't know any other way to attract attention in the Democratic primary. It's sort of his credential. But on this, I think a lot of governors like him are going to be caught because they're going to find out that as much as they jump up and down, there are going to be thousands of people in the voter rolls that don't belong there. And they're going to have to answer for why.
Well, we do know that there are several states, and they're mostly blue states, that have refused to turn over their voter information, their registered voter information. Right. I wonder if the New Jersey story with the 6,000 plus who we now know most of those are the ones who admitted to it, so they volunteered that information. But do you think this will encourage all those blue states like Pennsylvania to turn over their voter data so that we'll be able to get an accurate count, or are they going to dig in further?
Well, I think it's in Pennsylvania's case. I can't speak to the others, but in Pennsylvania, everything's a political calculus. So, I'm only half kidding when I say the Shapiro people are probably polling at this moment to see if Governor Mickey Sherrill, whether Mikey Sherrill being out front makes her a hero or a villain. And if he determines that being out front makes him a hero, we'll have a press conference by the end of the week where he voluntarily discloses. If he senses that the activists don't like it, he'll put his head down and pretend it's not happening. Look, the reality is, election fairness, under the premise, easy to vote, hard to cheat, results we can trust, starts with the voter rolls. If the voter rolls are flawed, everything else is subject to, as the nuns told me, occasions of sin. Right? If the voter rolls are flawed, there's an occasion to sin. So whether you're dead, multiple registered, you registered for somebody else, you take advantage of someone who's infirmed or has special needs, or you allow illegal immigrants to vote, you would think that if you want fair and accurate results and results we can trust, you'd clean it up. I suspect that Shapiro will focus group it, and he'll determine what's the best path forward, and he'll do what he determines is the best path forward to make him look best. That's a shame, but after several years now, we know that that's the political prism through which he views almost everything.
Now, guys, we're talking about this, and Shapiro is obviously a political animal, and he has pledged his fealty to the party. With the Democrat Party in a state of flux, I think it is. I made the case earlier that I see the Democrat Socialists as an experiment that they were trying to put a few examples out there of farther left of the squad so the squad would look normal. But the virus got out of the lab, and it is now unstoppable. So I think the Democrats are in a real war. They've got a real battle on their hands with this experiment. And even though it may make the left side of the party from a year ago look pretty central, I think it's going to be a challenge to the old guard like the Shapiros, because I think he's still part of that old guard, is he not? He's not a member of the squad. He's not someone who's going to caucus with the Democratic Socialists, is he?
No, but I think what's going to happen is that you're going to see, particularly in Shapiro's case, as I say, he's the guy that on the 2-lane highway keeps driving on the white, dotted lines because he's not sure if he wants to be in the left lane or the right lane, right? Some days he talks about, he goes to one of Senator McCormick's conferences and talks about the need to grow the economy and to have vibrant energy. And then before the week's over, he sort of has gone back with the Greens and the climate people and talks about wind and solar and the need to prop those up. That's where he is. He's in the left and the right lane. Look, you can use the analogy you want, right? I mean, the Mensheviks are being taken over by the Bolsheviks. Frankenstein has gotten up off the table. They started this, and now they're all going to have to decide. And as I say with folks like Shapiro, this is the moment, right? This is, are you going to be an enabler or are you going to be a leader? Are you going to be an enabler? And largely what's happened, particularly with folks from the Philadelphia suburbs, is they've become enablers, right? The congressional delegation, Mary Gay Scanlon, Madeline Dean, Chrissy Houlihan, they've decided to become enablers. Instead of trying to unify and say enough is enough, we've had it with crazy, they used to make fun of the AOCs. Now they link arms with AOCs and they all wear their white suits to the State of the Union and they all protest with buttons on their lapels. This is yet another moment. Crazy people are going to be elected to Congress this fall.
Yeah.
Will the Shapiros of the world say enough is enough and draw them back? It's why I say the future of not only elections, but the future direction of the nation in many ways is going to be, will will good old-fashioned liberal Democrats stop what's happening?
Well, you
Will
had
they join with conservatives and moderates and say enough is enough so we can get back to normal fights? Because right now we're debating socialism, we're debating crazy, and we shouldn't be there because almost no thinking American is there. But the enablers are afraid to say no. And look, Josh Shapiro would get a lot of my respect, not that he's seeking it, but he'd get a lot of my respect if he gave, if he gave the Sister Soldier speech from 30 years ago. If he went somewhere in Pennsylvania or somewhere in Iowa and said enough is enough. We can be for abortion rights, we can be for gay rights, we can be for working people, we can be for civil rights, but these folks are nuts. Empty the prisons, socialism, defund the police, and open borders is chaos. Republicans will say that. We need a Democrat to say it.
I don't know if you're going to get a Democrat to say it until they have the time to focus group it, as you said. And the Sister Soldier speech, for those that don't understand it, it was a moment for Bill Clinton that crystallized his strength within the party when he stood up and told Sister Soldier, no, there's crazy people out here. And we're not going to be the crazy people. We're going to, in fact, be the smart people on it. But I don't think Shapiro has the ability, does he, to stand up like that, because he doesn't have a history of taking a position until it's almost the bus has gone by. He's seen where it's going, and he runs to get on it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, he's the guy that's sort of looking at the GPS while he's there's a part out in the suburbs with us where the Schuylkill and sort of the Blue Route merge, and you see these people slow down to 20 miles an hour, and then they're driving in the triangle, and they're trying to decide Blue Route or Schuylkill, Blue Route or Schuylkill. And if you don't get careful, right, you drive into the guardrail. And you're right, he's going to try and wait for the last possible moment, which is why, as I say, on Monday he goes to a chamber meeting, and on Friday he goes to a crazy meeting, because he wants to keep a foot in both camps. I wish he would. Look, Mike, I'll tell you, the guy we met 30 years ago that was a state representative, the guy we met 20 years ago that was a county commissioner, that talked literally about building bridges, about growing the economy, about a marriage between business and labor, that guy's long gone. He can go back to his roots. It's up to him. But he hasn't shown that moment. And again, so I said, the only option right now is for Republicans to reach out and build the Common Sense Coalition, because there are no Democrats, but for, occasionally Senator Fetterman, that seem willing to say this is crazy. I mean, and again, he's somebody that ran as a progressive that said, socialism is nuts. Blowing up people is nuts.
I don't think you're going to see the GOP reach out to the Democrats until the old guard has made every effort it can to squash this socialist virus that's gotten out of the lab. And I'll play you a short clip here on my end of Andrew Cuomo, the disgraced former governor of New York, who's now being trotted out to kind of make statements about the madness. This is what he said about the Democrat socialists that have infected the party. He said this on Fox last night.
There is no such thing as free. Someone always pays. This is a dream. This is nirvana. This is utopia. And they're selling to young people who are buying it. But it's not going to work. And the socialist movement is the best thing the Republicans have going for them.
Now, I agree with Cuomo on that, but I also think there is a possibility that this could turn into making, the young generation of Democrats, the AOCs, into a palatable center of that party. And that's where I think Shapiro loses, because I'm just speculating here from my own instincts, Guy. You're closer to the inside on this than I am. Do you believe that the young squad members, the AOCs of the world, look at Shapiro as part of the old crew, and that he will be one of the targets, just the same way Hakeem Jeffries appears to be a target as well?
Same church, different pew. Pardon the many puns there. Same church, different pew. I think they look at him as weak. And the question is, do they look at him as weak and therefore needing to be removed? Or do they look at him as weak and therefore he's malleable? Because take, for example, who's in the latter category? Chuck Schumer. right? I mean, you could spend an entire show, Mike, playing Chuck Schumer from 10 years ago versus Chuck Schumer today, Chuck Schumer from 20 years ago to today, on immigration, on taxes, on crime, right? Schumer proved to be malleable. The fear of AOC primarying him to be the U.S. Senator from New York has made him an enabler. And I think ultimately the Shapiros of this world, the question for them is, do the AOCs think that they can be forced to help them, or do they have to be replaced? And what you're seeing in a lot of different cities is when they don't think they can be pushed, they can be replaced, which is why, you and I've talked, and I sent up a flare months ago for Mayor Parker. I've talked about it when I've been on Inside Story as well. I'm afraid that my advice to her would be stop trying to placate them. Because no matter how much you placate them, if they don't think you moved enough, they're going to come after you. And we need to rally to these folks. So, I don't know what they're thinking at the end of the day, but they're either going to decide Shapiro can be forced to be with them and an enabler, or they're going to get rid of him. And look, they'll get rid of him in 28. He's going to be the guy that's going to be on the stage with the gypsies, tramps, and thieves in Iowa and New Hampshire, and sort of the thinking class on CNN is going to say, the governor of Pennsylvania made some interesting points, and they'll applaud and pat themselves on the back, and Van Jones will say that Josh is thoughtful. But he's going to poll in single digits because he doesn't have a constituency, because he's unwilling to pick a lane. He doesn't have an issue or a lane, so everybody's going to clap. Which is why I think his future ends at some point soon. It may end in Pennsylvania. There are often elections where people are supposed to win and they don't. Don't rule out the fact he doesn't get out of the governor's race this year because he's not paying attention. He's flip-flopped on school choice. He's flip-flopped on data centers. Don't rule out the fact that voters in Pennsylvania catch on to the joke that this is just a rehearsal for the job he really wants, and we decide we really want a governor who wants to be governor.
Yeah, that's an interesting take on this because I think that overall the electorate is slowly waking. I think all of the turmoil on both sides of this is ultimately good for voters because eventually people will wake up and go, hold on a second, we have a say here. But here's the other side of this. You mentioned Van Jones, so I'm going to bring it up. I'm looking at Van Jones and I'm looking at Governor Shapiro. And I'm seeing two guys in the second tier of their party. But both of those guys have a possible future in the party. And in my book, if I'm looking at AOC as the party nominee in 2028, I would put money down that she would consider a Van Jones before she would consider a Shapiro, both from the standpoint of Shapiro is in the old guard, and I think Shapiro might have a problem with the anti-Semitic wing of his party. I think that would be a huge problem for Democrats.
Look, I think your analysis is spot on, and to the latter point, I think that that's an American tragedy, that we've allowed that disease to resurface and become so commonplace. And look, for those of us that can walk and chew gum, for those of us that can hold two thoughts in our head, it's entirely valid to debate the war with Iran. It's entirely valid to debate the premiership of Netanyahu. It is not valid to use those as an excuse to talk about, Jewish money, Jewish influence, and all these things that our parents and grandparents heard and that our Jewish friends have heard spewed. Look, I think that's a problem. And not just Governor Shapiro, but somebody else. Again, there needs to be those moments you sometimes see in national debate. When Josh Shapiro is on that stage, he should not give up on his faith. But more importantly, some other grown-up on that stage in their moment needs to body block in front of him and say that all of the thinly veiled questions and the murmuring has to stop. You can like Josh Shapiro or not. As you may have gathered, I'm not voting for him. Yeah. But I will not be silent. I will not be silent while I hear things about his faith or that his faith is somehow disqualifies him. And I think you're right. The sad state of affairs of whatever I may think of his record, whatever I may think of his convictions, I think he's a non-starter in his party because there's yet to be seen a leader other than John Fetterman, who he apparently doesn't like, who's willing to come forward as a bodyguard and say, don't do this, folks. We want to be the party of civil rights and the little guy. How in God's name are we the party of anti-Semitism, looking for that grown-up on the other side to sort of capture the moment and change the debate? And I just don't see him or her yet. And as a Republican, we may take advantage of it, and we should in a good way. But I sure wish as an American that somebody would take hold of the Democratic Party and bring it back to just liberal Democrats. And I wish somebody would stand up to the anti-Semitism and explain it's no more acceptable than the anti-black racism of the 60s and 70s. And we needed people to speak out then, and we need them to speak out now.
I don't think you're going to find that in today's Democrat Party, because if you stand up and make that statement, you will be targeted by that far left wing. And we're going to see, I think, in the next 3 months and a week, that wing is going to have an entrenched base inside Congress, and they might even have one or two inside the Senate, which would be a horrible thing for America, in my opinion. Guy Shiraki, it is always a pleasure to spend time with you. The piece on Shapiro that you gave me the sneak preview to comes out tomorrow, I believe. Is that correct?
So I have the Shapiro piece on Real Clear, and tomorrow, a lot of what we're talking about. Tomorrow in Broad and Liberty, bright and early, 7 a.m., Broad and Liberty. My next column, which we'll talk about on the things you and I discussed. We used to have a consensus in America on the border, on the economy, on fighting crime, and one party walked away. We used to talk about everybody wanted to be tough. Yeah, everybody wanted to fight crime, and then one party decided not to. Everybody wanted to secure the border, and then one party decided not to. So we'll see that. And on a personal note, if I may, at the end of the week, I have a piece in Broad and Liberty that not even my wife knows about, that I wrote about the passing of a friend. One of what President Bush would say, 1,000 points of light, and how we should recognize those people that give back before they leave us.
Well, I'm sorry you lost a friend. I will look forward to that piece and send you peace, my friend, as well. Coach Guy Shiraki, always a pleasure. I always learn something, and I laugh a little bit too. Thank you, my friend. God bless.
Amen. Back at you. Have a great night, and everybody be safe, and I'll see the willing at tryouts tonight.
I hope you find some future stars. Good luck, Coach. Thank you.
I do.
It is 5:35. We ran long. You got your nickel's worth on this one. Taking a break. When we come back, yesterday we talked about the Smithsonian Institute and how the wokeness had invaded the Smithsonian. Well, today there was a hearing, and there was the craziest moment I've seen. And Brandon Gill, one of the rising stars of the GOP, made me laugh out loud. We'll share it, and you're welcome to join the conversation as well. 855-839-1210. It's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Here's something you don't hear every day. Employee pricing for everyone. For a limited time only this July, Closet Factory Philadelphia is opening its employee pricing event to everyone. That means incredible savings on custom closets, garages, pantries, home offices, and more. If you've been waiting to organize your home, now's the time. Employee pricing is available this July for a limited time only. Book your free design consultation today at closetfactory.com. That's closetfactory.com.
This is the sound of Lucy, staying on top of her spending. You see, even though she's buying a new pair of jeans, she knows that it fits within her monthly budget. Because Wells Fargo will send an alert if her balance drops below her set amount. Yep, nothing gets past Lucy, or Wells Fargo for that matter. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
A great deal or more safety? Why choose? Mazda has been awarded more 2026 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than any other brand as of June 2026, and has been named Consumer Reports' safest new car brand. Right now, you can drive one home for less at the More to Move You sales event. Mazda, more for you. Go to MazdaUSA.com to learn more. Consumer Reports does not endorse products or services.
For a limited time, get 0% APR for up to 72 months on eligible models. Visit Piazza Mazda of Westchester, Reading, or PiazzaMazda.com for details.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless-leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks, like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 267-223-7162 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 267-223-7162 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 267-223-7162 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinic treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 267-223-7162.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
It is 5:40 on this Tuesday afternoon. Mike Opelka with you. And 5:41 now. The storm is rolling through the area. If you watched the camera on the YouTube channel, you saw the view. It does look spooky out here. It looks darker down where I am in northern Delaware. I don't have an outdoor camera. I guess I could try and bring up some of the security cameras that ring the property that keep me apprised if anyone is encroaching. No, I don't think I'll do. I don't think I can do that on the connection we have here. Maybe next time. Trying to get to everything that we called up before we have to get out of here and make room for Zioli, who has a great show today. So you should stick around. You should subscribe and like the show. And then, of course, Jimmy Fail. I have a confession to make. We'll do this before we get out of here. I agree with Tim Walz on something. I hope that's not going to disqualify me for any future work on the radio station. I'm supposed to be here tomorrow, but I am in lockstep with the Minnesota Governor Tampon Tim on something, and I'll share that with you before we get out of here. And you can make your own decision as to whether or not you will join me tomorrow or in future guest hosting opportunities. We will see. Yesterday we talked about Hunter Biden and the bizarre obsession Hunter Biden had with trying to claim that there are a bunch of closeted homosexuals inside the Republican Party, inside Congress. Also kind of making the weird claim about Ted Cruz. Now, you have two clips, DeSantis. You have the one from today, but did you pull the extra one from yesterday?
We have one from yesterday. Give me 2 seconds. I'll pull that one up. We do have it. It's just not loaded in.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, while you load that up, can we play Hunter Biden? I think this is proof that whatever drugs he was using while he was using drugs may have wiped his memory banks, like that thing on Men in Black where you'd hold the little pen up and go and then zorch the memory. I think Hunter Biden may have lost every single bit of his memory during his drug years. Check this out.
And we're talking about what? I don't remember even. What am I defending myself against at this point? I'm not sure. I do know this is that there's not a single thing that ever connected my dad to anything, even if you wanted to believe the worst things that you could possibly believe about me. I never took a single dollar from a foreign government, ever, not once. Let alone involve my dad in any.
You took no money from a foreign government, despite all of the millions, the tens of $millions of dollars that was being funneled through the shadow network of companies that you set up. You and Tony Bobolinsky were funneling all that money through all those companies. Now, maybe he thinks that just because he had the diamond under the pillow in the hotel room in China, that didn't count as money. Just amazing to me. His memory must be totally wiped. But to say that Joe Biden never got a dime, never got a penny, never got any money from Hunter, then what the hell was 10% for the big guy? What was that, Hunter Biden? I don't know why he's out there doing all this stuff, but we have the records. They have the banking records. Do you have Tony Bobolinsky, he was willing to testify to put his own reputation on the line. But yesterday, Hunter had been talking with that evil witch who has the podcast the Democrats are funding, the woman who just one of the most distasteful, despicable people I've seen, Jennifer, what's her name? Not going to say it. She might appear. She's a demon. But Hunter made the claims about the closeted members of Congress. But this one is the one that I think Ted Cruz might have the ability to take some legal action with.
Top three MAGA laptops. We're going to have.
I got it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me number one.
But let's start with the laptop that I want to see. Well, begin with Josh Hawley.
Josh Hawley. Well, here's interesting. Here is his.
Can we do more than three?
Yeah, we're going to go all day. Okay. Here's Josh Hawley with Harrison Butker. He's the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. And this looks like a gay engagement photo. I mean, that's really gay. Ryan, on a scale of 0 to gay, how gay is that? Gay, yeah. I just feel like when rubber hits the road,
so to speak. Exactly.
These two were not thinking about women. Here he is attempting to have a heterosexual kiss.
It's Josh Hawley kissing his wife. Big deal.
Okay, number two, Hunter. Hawley's number one. Number two.
Oh, Ted Cruz, of course. 100%.
Do you get a gaydar ping from Ted?
No, you know what I get? I get a really, really kinky, weird
Me
Ted
too.
thing. Yeah.
Do you remember on 9/11?
And it may be gay, it may not be gay, it may be a little bit of this, it may be a little bit of that, but it may involve animals too, in my opinion.
Okay, do you remember on 9/11, this was several years ago, Ted Cruz liked a porn tweet?
Oh, yeah.
And then he blamed it on his staffer, and everybody knows Ted did it on 9/11.
Yeah.
So if Ted Cruz liked a porn tweet, it sounds like that's kind of heterosexual, but for Hunter Biden to say that Ted Cruz has some sort of kinky animal sex vibe to him, I hope that's actionable. I really do, because I find this totally distasteful. And the fact that the DNC is propping up this woman and allowing Hunter to do this, again, why do you care? I thought the whole thing was, we love everybody. Let you be you. We don't care if you're gay. Well, apparently Hunter Biden and Jennifer Witch do. It's awful. And now, yesterday we also talked about the Smithsonian, had that fascinating discussion about the Smithsonian Institute and the board that operates the Smithsonian. Well, today in the House there was a hearing which was actually quizzing some of the Smithsonian folks about what's going on, about the crazy wokeness. And Brandon Gill, one of the guys I find to be very refreshing, very entertaining. Brandon Gill is he's one of those guys who proves that lawyer adage, you never ask a question that you don't know the answer to. And he sets this up. He tees this up beautifully. The first one is with one of these Smithsonian bosses asking her a very basic question that you would ask a kindergartner.
Excuse me, sir?
Is it important to be polite?
Yes, sir.
It's also interesting because the same mass action toolkit that your organization has been promoting references politeness as a defining characteristic of white supremacy culture. Ma'am, are you a white supremacist?
No, sir.
You're not. Can you help me square why your organization says that being polite is part of being a white supremacist?
I'm not exactly familiar with that passage of the Mass Action Toolkit, which is not
I can show you the
one that we
passage right
developed.
here.
I love this guy because he comes with receipts. He brings it. He's prepared. Yeah, is it good to be polite? Yes, we teach our kids it's good to be polite. Then why do you say that politeness is is a sign of white supremacy? I guess Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver would be one of the typical white supremacists among them. But Brandon Gill wasn't done. He took it from politeness to Mickey Mouse.
Is Mickey Mouse racist?
Mickey Mouse is not racist.
It's not racist. According to the Smithsonian Institution, one of your exhibits referenced Mickey Mouse as representing, quote, vestiges of long-standing traditions of blackface minstrelsy. Would you describe that as racist?
No, the historical trajectory of the origins of Mickey Mouse tied directly
so Mickey Mouse is rooted in racism. Is that your testimony?
No, sir, it's rooted in minstrelsy.
Minstrelsy, and you don't think that blackface minstrelsy is racist?
It had certain unobvious racial overtones that have been well documented.
You think that that's problematic, that Mickey Mouse also has those racial overtones?
It's not for me to determine what's problematic. It's determined to me what's accurate.
Is that right?
She's telling us that Mickey Mouse is based in minstrel shows, which are based in racism. These people, are we allowed to call them these people, or does that make us bad people? This is just crazy. This is why I need to be on the board. This is why Zioli and I need to be on the board that's running the Smithsonian. We would straighten this. What a gigantic waste of time. Yeah, so Mickey Mouse, he's rooted in racism because his roots come from minstrel shows. I don't think that's even close to being true. You people are high. We need to drug test all of them. There were some other fun moments today at the White House. The president of Lebanon stopped by the White House to meet with our president, Donald John Trump. There are a couple of great clips from here. The first one is President Trump recognizing when someone's sucking up to him.
Mr. President, it's an honor having you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
I've been looking forward to this visit for a long time.
Thank you very
Meeting
much.
such a great president like yourself.
That's a very nice thing. See, he knows how to get to me. He can have anything. Now he can have anything.
Yeah, now you can have anything. Trump's just letting him know, I'm not buying it, pal. You could suck up to me, but I'm the king of the suck ups. You're not going to get anything that I don't want you to have. But the other part of this, which was really interesting, because Lebanon has been quietly handling negotiations between Israel and Hezbollah, the terror group that Iran sponsors, and it looks like there may be some progress there. And President Trump was asked if he was open to holding direct talks with the terror group Hezbollah.
But I would speak to Hezbollah. Yeah. I speak to everybody. I'll speak to people that a lot of people think I shouldn't be speaking to, and things work out. I would speak to
Mr. President,
I would say this: if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, he's lived with Hezbollah for a long time, and if the president wanted me to speak to Hezbollah, I would.
I think this is fascinating. The left will, of course, lose their mind on this. If you want to have some fun, watch some of the MS-13 Now shows tonight. And tomorrow morning, Joe will probably wet their pants over Donald Trump saying, if I can have direct talks with Hezbollah, I will do it. They will go crazy over that. But I think Trump is just playing them. That's what he does. Before we get out of here, I promised you my confession. I agree with Tim Walz on something. If that makes you hate me, then so be it. But Tim Walz signed a bill into law in Minnesota today. Here it is.
Minnesota's governor just signed the so-called Grandparents' Happy Hour bill into law. It means nursing homes and assisted living facilities in that state can now serve alcohol to the folks who live there. The law goes into effect next month.
So Grandma and Grandpa, who are living in assisted living facilities, can now have senior happy hours, which will probably be at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I agree with Tim Walz on this. And why didn't this exist before? And if he signed the law and it's the law now, why in the hell do you have to wait a month to have a glass of something at your assisted living facility? Let Grandma and Grandpa have a cocktail if they would like to. I'm wrapping it up today. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, DeSantis. Thank you, Justin. Thank you to everybody who was listening, and especially those of you who were so damn active in the YouTube chat. It's always a pleasure. Tomorrow we will wrap up my week, and I've got a couple of surprises planned for you, so please be here. I'm not going to reveal anything about tomorrow's big announcement. That's in the morning show, and you better be there for it. Right now, you better hang out with Zioli. Till next time, it's Mike Opelka reminding you, enjoy every sandwich. And testudo, my friends. Testudo.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter. Need to hire.